Hello everybody and welcome back to the coolest dog training channel on YouTube. I'm Tom Davis, America's Canine Educator. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing. By the way, this is the first unboxing I've ever done on my channel. I just thought it would be interesting to do an unboxing of the Dogtra IQ Mini. Mainly because this is a model I've never used before. I hear really great things about this IQ Mini, so I wanted to do an unboxing to give you guys what this collar has to offer, all the different settings on it, and explain to you what they mean and what they don't mean. So I'm excited to do this with you guys. Oh, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget, we're giving away No Bad Dog merch. All you have to do is leave a comment in the comments below within 3 hours of this video being posted. All right, so first impression is Dogtra just came out with this new boxing within the last year or so. It's the yellow and black, which is nice. Definitely a smaller box comparable to all of the other boxes. Makes sense because it's one of their smaller models, if not the smallest. So I'm going to open up the little tab on the bottom here that is sealed. There. And then open her up. So we got here this attached to charger. It's a little card to show you how to charge this model because this model is charged differently, which I'm not familiar with, but that's why we're doing this fun unboxing. Owner's manual, pretty typical for Dogtra's remote collars. So this is a very long booklet, up to 31 pages of do's and don'ts and stuff like that, but that's kind of boring because I'm going to walk you through it now anyway. So here's the charger. So the good thing about this is I call this the breakaway charger, which basically means that it breaks away if it's pulled on. I'm sure that there's other reasons for this charger to do this, but I like it because if it gets snagged on the counter, I put all of my collars on my counter in my house, and so if it gets snagged on something, which happens all the time, it doesn't rip this out and ruin your charger. So that's what I call the breakaway charger. And then talking about the charger, you have one unit that will, I would assume, go into this the actual handheld device that you hold, which would be the remote setting, or the remote, sorry, and that would charge into there. And then this will charge into there. I'm going to go over that in a minute. This is a little different for me, so we're going to just go piece by piece as far as equipment goes. So there's the charger. Here's the actual collar, which is very small. Actually, that's surprisingly small. I dig that because we do have a lot of dogs that we work with the remote that have extremely small necks, extremely small bodies, and really when we're doing remote collar training, we want the remote or the collar to just be a part of our everyday process. We don't want it to be this big bulky thing that your dog is uncomfortable with. So this is really, really nice. And as you guys can see, probably on the front of the box, you have like a little dog on the front. So and then a little min pin on the back. It's probably one of the same dogs, but pretty cool nonetheless. So on the back of the box, which I'm going to read off to you guys really quick, would be the 400-yard range, a 7-pound dog, as small as a 7-pound dog. It's 1.3 ounces, petite receiver, very small. Plastic contacts, so it says plastic contacts here, which would be different from their normal contact points of being metal. It's got a nick and consistent stimulation and a vibrating pager, which is nice. And you can use 2 dogs on this. So the features are as read. So that's pretty cool. It's got a lot of different things. One thing I didn't know about this collar is it has plastic points and it's 2 dogs. I would assume because this unit is so small, it wouldn't have been a 2-dog unit, and it actually is. So that's very, very important. That's pretty cool. So the actual remote is also very small. It's smaller than any other remote I've had before. And let's see, it's got the antenna here. So this is much like an old school cell antenna that just goes up and gives reception to your actual collar. It has a nick, a continuous, and a pager setting, which I'll explain those in a minute. and then it's got a dial. So unlike a lot of the other Dogtree units, it doesn't have a digital dial. It has a dial, which I'll show you guys in a second, a little bit more close up. Like this thing is tiny. I mean, it's smaller than smaller than my cell phone, very small. I'm sure. So good thing about the Dogtrees is they always have the serial numbers right in the back. It's really important for us because we have a bunch of units all over the place, and so having the numbers match up with the actual collar. So you'll notice that they both match up, obviously. So this is good for reference to make sure you have the right collar. I really like that. And again, going back to the dial function here, it's really easy. I think the biggest thing about Dogtree, one of the biggest things about Dogtree that sets themselves far from any other e-collar that I've used is the capability of just using your dial or using your numbers really quickly and being able to access them really quickly in a pinch. If you need it in emergency, that's really important. So just the way that you hold it and your thumb being right here, I really, really like that. Then of course you got your lanyard, which is really nice. That's standard on all Dogtree collars. I use this sometimes, but I always suggest to people that when they're training, just not having it around your neck. But when you're transport, when you're getting in your car and you're going from A to B, it's really, really nice to have your lanyard. Let's see if we have anything else in the box. Nothing else in the box, completely empty. So I'm going to go through the functionalities and what they mean and show you guys how to turn this on and off and all that fun stuff. So first thing I want to do before we get into the functionality is just going over charging ports. So you have your male adapter here, your male piece here, and there's a little flap here that you just undo, and then you'll stick your charger right into the unit, and then you'll plug it in. Now this side I'm not too familiar with, so you have to bear with me. This is the fun of the unboxing part, I guess. I'm like doing all sorts of stuff here. So it would help to look at the instructions, but I just learned by doing this. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And boom, we're in, baby. So yeah, that's the other good thing about reading instructions is it tells you right here what to do. So on this little charging port here, and that's one thing Dogtree does not skimp out on is detail. Fine detail. It says right here in text, right on the charging point, LED side first. Well, I didn't do that first, but I'm going to do it first now. So we're going to go up with the LED side, and then boom, clip it in, and it just clips in like that. Now when you plug your unit in, typically it'll just go red to let you know that it's charging, and it does need a charge. You can use this right out of the rip, I would assume. I'm going to turn it on a minute to see if it has any juice, but normally you just charge it for a little bit, and then the lights will turn green to let you know that it's fully charged on most Dogtree units. So I'm going to unplug these and take these cool charging ports off, and then I'm going to turn this on, which again, not familiar with. Oh, so I just figured this out. So there's a little sliding thing here, and if you slide it on one, it means that there's one, that's the first dog, and then you simply click it over for the second dog, which is really nice because when you get into the bigger units, they give you a button for each dog, which gets, for like somebody like myself who drinks way too much coffee and is all over the place, being able to just slide it over to dog 2 is actually a really, really nice feature. So let's figure out how to turn this on. Okay, I'm hitting a button. So it's on. We're ready to roll. So the other great thing about the Dogtree technology is being able to sync them by their little red syncing dots. I'm sure that there's another term for it, but red syncing dots sounds good. So as you can see, you guys can see this light beeping on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, and there's a little red dot on here, and there's a little red dot on here, and you sync them together, and then this will go green to let you know that it's successfully synced. I always like to use the collar first before I put it on the dog. That's something really big, because sometimes if you don't do it quick enough, or if you do it too fast, or if you don't hold it there long enough, it may turn on green really quick and then shut off because you didn't hold it there long enough. So I always will test the collar to make sure that it's actually on. So then what I'm going to do is I always like to test the numbers on the remote just to see where they're at. So very, 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 very low numbers here. So I'm at a, what it looks to be, like a 45. So I know on the Dogtra 280C, for an example, we usually condition dogs on levels between 3 and 8 out of 130 levels. This collar has 100 levels, so it's got a little bit less levels than some of the other units, but it is a smaller unit. And I can tell you that I normally will feel I can normally feel, like on a Dogtra 280C, I normally feel it around a 20. And this is very similar. Like right now I'm doing a, like right there is a, like 40, or no, I'm sorry, 25-ish, between 20 and 40. And I always like to just put it right on my wrist because that's where we're the most sensitive. You can't put it on, well, you can, but putting it on this side of your wrist and putting it on your hand, it doesn't really work that well. Put it on a really sensitive part of your body, like your neck or your wrist. The wrist is just easier to get to. So anyway, that's on. Now to turn it off, I'm assuming you just hold this button down here on the remote, and nope, that doesn't work. So we're going to look at the instructions for that. But I know to turn this off, all you have to do is sync them again, and then that'll go red, and it's not off because I didn't hold it. So watch what I do here. So I sync it here, turns red, hold it, hit the button again, it's off. So remote, I don't know how to, maybe you can't shut it off, I'm not sure. Let's look. So I just read in the handy dandy little IQ Mini instructions that the actual remote does not turn off. It activates as soon as you hit a button, which that is pretty nice so you don't forget. You can't really mess that up. And then to turn this on, I just showed you. So that's cool. And then again, every Dogtra has the LED lights to clearly tell you whether it's on or it's off. So I'll show you guys a cool function on this too, is when you do turn this back on, it'll go green. And then if you actually just sit there, it'll blink green. So when it's on a dog and you want to know if it's on, you just watch the dog for a second and it'll blink every maybe 15 seconds. So that's really nice. There's also going to be indicator lights on most Dogtra units. I'm not sure about this unit, but the Dogtra unit should, yeah, it does. If you're not familiar with dog training, I have many lessons on the e-collars on how to introduce it properly. I can link it above. And all you have to do for the nick is simply just tap the nick. So here's nick, continuous, and pager. So those are the three options. So when you hit nick, you'll notice that the green light will come on. And then the continuous is exactly how it sounds. So all you're going to do is hold this button down, and then as soon as you release your finger, the continuous will actually shut off. So that's the nick and the continuous, and then the pager is exactly how it sounds. So when you hit the pager button, all it does is it just sends off a little vibrating tone to the dog. Now, much like cooking and chefs, this is the pot and the pan. Now, you can give this to many different cooks, many different chefs, and they can do whatever they want with it. Some people do it right, some people do it wrong. It really, that's not why I'm here. I'm here today to just show you the functionalities of these collars. But the pager is something that you can do depending on how you train your dog to get your dog's attention. You could train them page twice, boom, boom, the dog turns left. Page once, boom, the dog turns right. Hold down pager, etc. I use the pager on some of the other bigger models for a lot of behavior modification cases. When you don't want to physically correct the dog because it could get them to redirect on you, you simply just use the pager to snap them out of the bad behavior that you don't want them in. So that's essentially, but again, you guys can apply these different things however you want. I got many videos on that. So overall, IQ Mini is actually a really cool model. I'm surprised on how small it is and the quality of the Dogtra. Like when you feel this receiver and this actual collar that goes on a dog, you can just tell the quality that's put into here. It's not hollowed out. It's got a bunch of different things in here to make sure that it's receiving to the dog properly. And so I'm thoroughly impressed with the size and the capabilities of this little IQ Mini. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching me unbox the IQ Mini made by Dogtra. If you guys are interested in some of the Dogtra stuff, I'll just link their website down below. You can check out all their gear. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't yet, like this video, subscribe to my channel for many different videos that we're uploading here on the channel with dogs. I will talk to you next time. Peace.